Happy New Year, broker partners out there. It's Loren Hawkins once again from ThreePoint Capital, coming to you for the first live event of the year here. I have the pleasure of sitting down with a really good long friend of mine, Jessey. He was with a BMI Advisory Services. Welcome, Jessey. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to sit down with me.
Yeah, thanks, Loren. Appreciate the opportunity to have our discussion. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we go back, geez, a lot of years. Started off, I think, when we first met each other back on our CMBA BC days. Back then it
Yes.
was MBA BC, and we were both directors for quite a long time and struck up a great friendship, and we kind of kept in touch along the way and bumped into each
Absolutely.
other last summer, I guess it would have been, at an AMBA event, and said,
Yeah.
hey, let's get together and have a little chat about what your services are and who you are. So how did BMI come to be?
So my business partner and I, Rosie Gillette is her name. She and I started BMI Advisory back in 2020.
Okay.
And it was really realizing that there was something missing from a mortgage broker perspective. So anyone who knows me knows I've been working in creditor insurance with MPP for quite some time.
Yeah.
And in British Columbia, back in 2017, regulations changed and it limited the ability for mortgage brokers to offer creditor insurance. So there's been a gap in the marketplace since then. And a lot of mortgage brokers have always said that they like term insurance options, other insurance options.
Right.
So Rosie had actually started working on this program with Hub Financial, and eventually we approached them and took the product and program out to the market. So yeah, it's been a good time so far.
So are you a subsidiary then of Hub?
No, we Hub used to be our MGA.
Oh, okay.
We recently moved over to IDC Win.
Okay.
So that's kind of the back office, and then we handle our stuff. We have our relationships with all the different insurance providers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what services under that umbrella do you do? Obviously, you mentioned that you were formerly with MPP, and a lot of our people that tune in and watch this are quite familiar with that. So what else are you providing other than that insurance piece?
So from an insurance perspective, so we don't do the MPP. That's a creditor
Right.
insurance.
Right.
It's more of an alternative or a solution. So term insurance is probably our main product that we are offering. We have a lot of relationships with different mortgage brokers and brokerages where we help them set up actually an insurance agency,
Okay.
and it's a full service insurance agency. So term insurance, permanent insurance, health and dental, disability coverage, critical illness. So we do have all of those different products that we do offer.
So a broker can be working with a self-employed or a corporate and offer some kind of a package for those individuals.
Yeah, exactly. So we get the referral from the mortgage broker,
Yeah.
and then we as licensed insurance agents have a discussion with that client, determine what their needs are, whether it is something basic like a term insurance policy, or whether it's something more robust like a permanent whole life policy.
Okay.
If they want to, if they're a corporate entity and want to offer health and dental benefits to their employees, we can work with them to get quotes and provide that to their employees.
Oh, great. So basically, brokers meeting with their clients, have a discussion on the insurance piece. They say, we've got a partnership with the BMI. We'll have somebody from that company reach out to you, and then they do. Obviously, there's some kind of referral chit or acknowledgement that they're handing them over to you.
Absolutely. And that depends on the structure or the relationship that we have with that individual referring to us.
Okay.
We have right now it's 20 different partnerships where those mortgage brokerages created an insurance agency with our assistance.
Okay.
So That is a separate insurance entity.
Okay.
So we then split those deals with that insurance entity. They get paid directly from the insurance companies. The other flip side is an individual who just wants to refer business to us. So then, yeah, we offer referral compensation for that as well.
So it really comes down to how the agent or broker wants to set up a relationship with you, how deep they really want to get into the business, or just have that solid relationship for the referral piece.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of look at it as if they're going to be in the business for the long haul
Yeah.
and do quite a bit of business, it's beneficial to go down the path of creating the agency
Yeah.
because they then own that book of business. They
Yeah.
get those trailers where if you do one deal a year,
Yeah.
not worth the effort to to go that route. You just collect a referral fee and be happy. If someone who
Exactly.
does if you have a large brokerage or you do quite a bit of business, then it's well worth exploring that option of creating the agency itself.
Well, it just adds value to the brokerage, right? To the broker
Yeah.
owners. I mean, it just gives that little added layer of incentive should they ever want to retire or pass a book or sell a book. They now have not only their business and maybe trailers off of some of their lender partners, but now they had the added insurance piece, which is, I think, brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. And with our program, there's no hired insurance agents or anything like that.
Yeah.
Everything comes through BMI. So we
Perfect.
basically set up the arrangement and then we take care of all the business and split the deal with that entity. So,
Oh, great. So what provinces do you guys service then? Is it,
so we are national,
okay,
um, with the exception of Quebec, and we're in the process of getting an insurance agent in Quebec. So working on that. But BMI Advisory Services is registered in all provinces across the country. We are life licensed in all provinces again, except Quebec.
okay,
And we are in 2 of the territories. We're still missing Nunavut,
okay.
but that might be 2023. So
Well, it gives you a wide net to cast and keep you and your partner there busy. That's for sure.
absolutely, exactly.
So when you're talking to brokers and agents across the country, like what are the most asked questions that you get from them? Like,
Yeah,
obviously not everybody's an expert like yourselves. So like what are the most common questions?
yeah, like a lot of times it comes down to they've known me, and most of what they know about insurance is really related to creditor insurance.
Right.
So it's mostly questions like, what type of coverage do you offer? So that's where we do get into it's term insurance, which they're usually familiar with.
Yeah.
When we get into permanent insurance, whole life insurance, critical illness, those are things that are they don't quite understand as much. So they have some questions about that. And, we have really good discussions. And, when we look at permanent insurance, there's that huge savings aspect of it. So there's huge opportunities with corporations setting up a whole life policy with, some of those retained earnings, being able to invest it in an insurance policy, get that tax-free money into the corporation, and ultimately out from the corporation to the shareholders. So we do have a lot of conversations about different types of coverage and just really wrapping their head around it's not just creditor insurance, it's really everything else that we do have.
Big holistic approach to insurance and what's the best benefit, because I know a lot of broker owners or even individuals that may be incorporated themselves, a key man policy may be a big piece of their plan for their coverage, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. And again, when you have partners in a business, there's also the those buyouts. In the event that something happens to one of the partners, you want to have life insurance for the two, three, four owners, so that if something happens, the company will be able to buy those shares from the family. So we
Exactly.
do a lot of those. Those are buy-sell agreements.
Yeah.
And then we get into the corporate policies, individual policies.
I mean, way back when I started in my financial career, I was in credit union side, and obviously we had one of the biggest partners at the time, Cumis. And it was always one of those things that was very easy for me when I was setting up mortgages for my clients to put them in, a mortgage type insurance policy. And then it was always that, okay, look, and for now you're covered, but now I want to introduce you to a planner, go through the whole piece of what your family kind of really needs. Do you keep the insurance in place that I've got, and then add a secondary policy to protect the rest of your assets and family should something happen, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
it was a big piece of my business growing my book way back when. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's a big
What
part for sure.
yeah. So what are couple things that brokers that they should know about insurance? I mean, sometimes everybody thinks insurance is a dirty word, right? I mean, we all pay it. We've all had our stories, whether it's, automobile insurance or a disability or something like that, or we've heard clients having some issues with policies in the past or whatnot. So some people a little bit of skeptical. It's like, what should people, brokers and agents know?
Yeah, and that skepticism sometimes comes from, yeah, experience, and there are a lot of different products out there. So it really is making sure that an insurance agent is able to speak with the client and pinpoint what they need. You do have term insurance, and that could range anywhere from a 5-year plan to a 40-year plan and everything in between. So that's term insurance. Then permanent insurance, you've got what's called participating whole life insurance, and then just whole life insurance. So a couple aspects there. There's universal life. When it comes to disability coverage, there's coverage based on your debts that you have, like the mortgage, and then there's coverage for your income. So we kind of determine what those clients' needs are. And with critical illness, it's similar. There's lots of options. You can have 4 illnesses of coverage, you can have 25 illnesses of coverage, a 10-year term or permanent coverage. So there's just lots of different things that in our conversations with the client, we kind of determine, what are they looking for? What price point are they looking at? Is the purpose insurance and cover a specific need, or
Right.
is it more holistic, and let's look at it more of it as an investment and get more into a permanent policy, be able to borrow funds from those insurance policies, the be your own banker concept, or use
Right.
it as a retirement, or as I call it, a pension plan. For a lot of people who don't have those, is using a permanent insurance policy, building that cash value. You'd be able to take out that cash later on and use that as retirement. So there's a lot of different aspects, and it's great as a mortgage broker to have the conversation if client's interested.
Yeah.
Being able to refer that client to a professional who can handle that conversation and have that conversation with the client. So
Yeah. I mean, that's key. Always having partnerships available to you, whether it's, go somewhere or not, at least you're providing your client with sound advice or a sound referral over to a company like BMI.
mhm.
When it comes to being able to connect with you guys, I mean, obviously you've got your partner there. Do
Mhm.
you divvy up the country, or do you just take it call by call?
So
Like how is that connection piece with the brokers and agents out there?
yeah, so one to kind of see a little bit about us, we have our webpage, which is bmiadvisory.ca.
Okay.
On there, we do get connections from clients, but most of the time we get reached out by email.
Okay.
When we set up a relationship and set up an agency for someone, we set up a specific email address for them
Okay.
to send those referrals to us. Rosie and I own the corporation, but we have 15 insurance agents that are under our corporation.
Okay.
Some of them are independent and others do handle referrals for us. So we usually assign a specific person to an office. So when those come in, that agent would handle those referrals depending on where that brokerage is licensed. So like mortgage brokering, insurance license, it's all based on the province that they're in. So
Right. Okay.
I am licensed across the country, then we'll have other individuals that are licensed in 2 or 3 provinces. So we just kind of link that agent with where the bulk of the volume comes from.
Right. So you've built your network, you've done what you do so you can support the agents and brokers across the country now.
Yeah.
How many firms are you dealing with on a monthly basis?
So we have 20 agencies that are set up. So
Okay.
most of them are referring business to us.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we have another 10 or 15 individuals that refer business to us. When we started the company, my focus was starting to build those relationships and set up those agencies. And then I stopped that part from a recruiting perspective, worked on building the infrastructure, doing some of the applications. But 2023, we're looking to expand further. So
Okay.
we'll be looking to get additional agencies set up, and of course, hire more insurance agents as well to handle that volume for us.
Great. So you spoke about the website. Is that your preferred method of contact right now?
Probably email or calling us would be ideal. So our email address are pretty straightforward. Mine is Jessey, Jessey, then it's bmiadvisory.ca.
Okay.
And Rosie's is ROSY at bmiadvisory.ca.
Awesome.
And
Well, I mean, I think this is just such a added bonus for our broker partners and agents out there across the country to have another complimentary service that they can provide their clients, give their clients a peace of mind that they know when they've dealt with that agent or that broker that they're fully covered. So if anything should happen, knock on wood, nothing does, but they are adequately prepared for the family that they're leaving, so to speak. So
that's
it's not always one of those topics that you like to, because typically when those type of policies, something tragic has happened, but
yeah.
at least they know that they've left their loved ones in a good financial position, right?
That's right, exactly. It's like you said earlier on, insurance is like, it's like a swear word.
Yeah.
No one wants to talk about it, but we all know we need it.
Yeah.
And, similar to car insurance, your automobile insurance, it's mandatory. So you have to have it,
Right.
and you suck up paying those fees. But, you're covering a $50,000, $60,000 car. Meanwhile, you have a home or, the well-being of your family. And oftentimes it's like, oh, I'll try to save these $50 or $100 a month and, do something else with it. So,
Exactly. I mean, just no different than home insurance, right? You see some of these sad stories on the news, like how much at the end of the day were you saving now
mhm.
that something's horrible has happened and your family's or you individuals displaced, and you have to go through that whole process, and you're
Oh yeah.
starting from scratch and you don't have that fallback. It's a tough piece.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
let's end on a happier note. What's one thing most people don't know about you?
One thing most people don't know about.
Yeah.
I don't know if most don't know about it, but I think most know I'm often doing the worm whenever I can.
Yeah.
So pushing 50 years old and doing the worm, I think most know that, but maybe a little quirk or kind of comic. I like comedy music, so listening to Weird Al.
Ah,
There you go.
there's
Crazy.
a flash from the past.
No kidding. He's yes,
Yeah.
and yes, he's still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, I truly appreciate you sitting down with me, uh, putting the word out of what BMI does and how they can help brokerages and individual agents across the country. I think it's a fantastic thing that you and Rosie have done. I mean, I wish you all the best in growing the company, and look forward to maybe sitting down with you in the future and see how things have gone.
Fantastic. Really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Loren.
You're most welcome. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks, Jesse. Have a wonderful day.
Take care.